So, Red Dead Redemption came out last week, and naturally, like any good content creator who keeps up with all the modern trends out there, I decided that I would stay relevant by, of course, making a video about what the superior alternative to Assassin's Creed Odyssey would be, which is a game that came out a few weeks before that video. Because I myself am nothing if not relevant, and I always make the most modern and up-to-date video game videos. So I've decided to pick up Red Dead Redemption 2, which is a prequel to Red Dead Redemption, which is a sequel to Red Dead Revolver, and I guess titling games can be a little bit difficult if you don't quite remember which is which, so I can forgive them for that mess. Unfortunately though, I have no way of capturing my footage of the PlayStation gameplay, and even more unfortunately is that there isn't a PC version of this game. So I've taken it upon myself to search far and wide for the best game to get your cowboy fix out there, and I think I've managed to find the best alternative out there, which is way better than Red Dead Redemption in just about any way, and best of all, it's a game you can play on your PC, so if you are some kind of elitist who thinks that for some reason you are better than other people who play console games, you can enjoy yourself with this great game. This game isn't quite a sequel slash prequel like Red Dead Redemption 2 is, it's actually more of a remake or remaster of a classic game called Wild Guns. This game being called Wild Guns Reloaded, which is a rootin' tootin' cowboy game, but it has a twist to make it less of a generic game that you would play some kind of copy and paste cowboy game like these other games out there. See, this game has got giant robots for you to fight, because here's the thing, if I wanted to learn about cowboys, all I would have to do is read a book or watch one of those westerns on TV, and then the games seem kind of pointless because I already know everything and it's just more of the same. It's nothing new and interesting to me. But what I haven't seen is a cowboy game where you fight robots as well as other cowboys. Now, I get that competing with a monolith like Rockstar is tough because it's such a huge company, and with games like 3 different Red Deads as well as the GTA, it's hard to compete with their great plots. And I'll admit that's an area where Wild Guns is lacking. All I could really find about plot was that there's this girl named Annie who hired a bounty hunter named Clint, and together they're going to hunt down the Kid gang who killed Annie's family. But this lack of complicated plot is actually a pretty good thing, because now gameplay isn't too bogged down by long and cumbersome and intrusive cutscenes that kind of interrupt the flow of your gameplay. Now you just get to run around and shoot at whatever enemies might stand in your path as you search for the leader of this Kid gang. So already this game is pretty good, because not only does it let you decide if you want to play as male or female, it also lets you do something that no Red Dead game has ever offered before. It's insanely inclusive to 2 other demographics that are often left to the sidelines with very little focus as main playable characters in other video games. The first being a cyborg with the ability to shoot bombs out of their hand, who is represented by Doris here. And although she doesn't move quite as fast as the other characters, she does dish out quite a bit of damage and is also making huge leaps and bounds for a community that gets very little representation in video games, and oftentimes cyborgs who shoot bombs are often made the villains, unless of course they're RoboCop, which everyone is pretty tired of by now. If I were to ask who your favorite character is in the movie Smokey and the Bandit, which I'm sure is a classic that of course everybody has watched, and naturally you, without skipping a beat, would say that Fred the dog is your favorite character from that movie, which is exactly the next demographic that this game represents with Bullet the dog. Bullet is pretty great because you might wonder how a long-haired Dacian would manage to survive, let alone defend himself in the Wild West, because he has no little thumbs or any way to really hold a gun, and even pull a trigger for that matter. Even if he wanted to shoot someone, he really wouldn't be able to. Not to mention, Bullet only seems to have one eye, which would really mess with his depth perception, making it really hard to shoot people and even play catch, which is a dog's favorite pastime. Luckily, this good boy isn't on his own, as he has a robot drone which he can seemingly control telepathically using his mind, or maybe he traded his one eye so that he can control this drone. A lot of this is left as speculation to the players, but he does get to run around as this drone does all the shooting, and he looks pretty adorable while he does it, so that's a win in my books. So at the end of the day, if I were to ask you if you could choose between playing a painted by numbers, run-of-the-mill cowboy video game set in the same old setting with the same old things that you'd always expect out of a cowboy game, but that has robots and some cyborgs and some steampunk stuff, as well as floating robot brains, Dacians who can kill people using their minds, and robot helpers, I'm pretty sure you would pick the obviously best option, which is only $17, making it a much better game and a lot more cost effective compared to Rockstar's $79 game, which is really just the same thing as watching any Clint Eastwood movie. There's another video, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to leave it a like, you can subscribe, you can comment, you can do all that kind of stuff. At the end of the day though, I'm not your boss and you can do whatever you want to do. I won't force you to do any of that, except I want you to know that I want you to have a good day. Now if I were to ask who your favorite character is in the movie Smokey and the In the movie Smokey